Hello, today we're going to be discussing a chapter out of the book What Really Matters for Struggling Readers by Richard Allington. We're going to be discussing Chapter 6, Where to Begin, Instruction for Struggling Readers. My name is Laura Carmona. Chapter 6 discusses the different professional aspects of working with struggling readers. First and foremost, teachers of struggling readers need to be willing to attend professional developments throughout the year versus only at the beginning of the year. By being willing to attend professional developments throughout the year, teachers of struggling readers are kept abreast of new research-based strategies that could help decrease the gap for the struggling readers that they work with. Secondly, teachers should be part of a TAPER, a community of teachers as professional readers. Basically, this just means that you read professional journals to become familiar with, again, research-based strategies that can help your struggling readers become more fluid readers. The goal of the TAPER is the exchange of information and knowledge among professionals. Finally, professional conversation has been shown to be an effective form of professional growth and teacher development. These conversations do not have to be formal in fashion. It could be passing each other in the hallway. It could be a couple of minutes here and there, wherever time allows. Teachers that communicate with each other rather than remain autonomous learn from each other. This allows for them to learn and use different teaching methods rather than teach from a scripted lesson or a one-fits-all curriculum. Just as teachers of struggling readers have certain expectations placed among them, the attendance of professional developments throughout the year, being part of a TAPER community, and having professional conversations about proven research-based strategies, teachers should be able to expect certain things from their district. Schools that foster sharing and support ultimately show the most improvement, but just as teachers support each other, school districts also need to support the teachers. Districts should provide appropriate instructional material to use with the struggling readers. Class sizes are also important. There is substantial evidence that shows that smaller class size is more conducive to a better application of best practices. These best practices are a result from the taper and the tips that the teachers are participating in. Honoring instructional time is a necessary item. Teachers need uninterrupted time to be able to implement what they learned from the taper readings and the professional conversations. Uninterrupted time further supports our multi-level, multi-source, refined teaching, which targets several students, many students in their classrooms with varying degrees of reading abilities. According to the educational article written by Jennifer Kreitz, Identifying and Supporting Struggling Readers, teaching reading is a skill that is taught at the elementary level. Students at the elementary level come in with a varying levels of literacy. It is up to the teacher to identify struggling readers and provide the supports to improve the student's reading ability. Identifying the struggling readers at an early age can be done using a variety of assessments. Common assessment tools include letter recognition, letter sound association, phonics, word reading, and spelling skills. The article also breaks down what skills are taught at certain ages in early years. Reading focuses on phonemic awareness and phonic instruction. During the middle years, students tend to lack the ability to comprehend what they read. Unfortunately, there are very few programs that teach comprehension. Teachers should use research-based comprehension strategies using various text types. Most literacy programs lack motivation. Without motivation, a student will not engage in the reading. One of the strategies that is discussed in this article is the use of story innovations. Story innovations is basically using a familiar text, deleting some of the words or some of the sentences and creating a new story. Regardless of the age or ability, this article validates the need for one-to-one or small group instruction. The activity that I chose to include in this presentation is one that I've used with my students quite often. I use it because I can actually format the questions to star questions, which is something that our district looks at, is using star formatted questions in our reading strategies. Basically, you're using DICE to improve reading comprehension. I teach 8th grade, so reading comprehension is something that my students lack. The game requires students to roll one dice. Each number or face of the dice corresponds with a certain question on a teacher handout. This activity is full of energy and spontaneity. It helps with reading comprehension that reluctant readers will find more exciting. Questions can be formatted for any age group or reading level. These are just this is a list of questions that I drafted that are star formatted. For example, describe the setting of the story, describe a conflict that the main character faces, what is the author's purpose for writing this piece, find words in the text that describe the mood of the story, come up with a different ending for the short story, find an extended metaphor in the story. What is the comparison? Now, I use this because um, I do have different levels of students. I have emergent bilinguals that are year ones. I have emergent bilinguals that have been in the program 6, 7 years. I also have special ed students with different learning disabilities. I have kids with dyslexia. This particular game can be done orally with a teacher milling around, looking at or listening to the conversations between the students, or you can incorporate a reading task with it. I'm sorry, a writing task with it. And the writing again reinforces the short constructed responses that the students are going to be exposed to on the STAR test. As far as my emergent bilinguals, um, they are practicing reading, writing, and speaking, which are well, I'm sorry, which are three of the areas that are tested on the TELPAS. Um, in summary, working with struggling readers is a difficult task regardless of the age. Elementary teachers are faced with the identification of struggling readers in the early years of school. Teachers of older struggling readers have the daunting task of keeping these students engaged and motivated. Being part of a professional community to exchange ideas, read professional literature, and partake in continuous professional development are necessary in order to keep abreast of best practices, the best research-based practices. Regardless of the age of the struggling reader, research-based strategies and keeping the students motivated and engaged are definite components of improving reading skills. In my classroom, I do use a variety of strategies. If it could be anything from choice boards, dice games, one pagers. Um, I never really use one activity um, more than a couple of times in a 6 weeks simply because I like to keep my kids engaged. I like to keep them motivated. I like to keep them thinking. I do work a lot in small groups. Um, and we do station rotations where each group has a different task to work on, and it's constant movement, it's constant keeping them going, constantly keeping engaged, especially at the middle school level where they're into everything except the subject content that they're supposed to be learning. So I hope you've enjoyed this presentation, and I hope there are a few things that you can take away from it.